di programmi, attività e finanziamenti rivolti alle aziende è stato
was activated and started. Now the audio is working. Thus, the first laboratories for the processing of agricultural products have appeared, as well as the return of farmyard animals, but also the educational farms have appeared in more recent times, and also the kitchens of these farms have been opened for the first forms of agritourism and tourist reception in the broadest sense of the word. If we reflect on how a modern farm is set up today, what has changed from the traditional ones? In the past, agriculture had to be multi-sectoral, and it was set up on self-consumption. And as a matter of fact, it involved various aspects of life at that time. It was necessary to have everything in order to survive. And for this reason, a bit of everything was cultivated and bred. When the season was profitable, they had a surplus, which could be exchanged or sold on the market. Today, farms are competitive on the market. They make themselves visible. They promote themselves. They embrace and reconcile products and ancient techniques with modern visions and solutions which are compatible with saving resources and inputs. We are therefore immersed in a virtual agricultural context that has been able to make traditional agriculture, ancient varieties and knowledge the strength of the company, of the farm, thus interpreting and intercepting the demands for healthy food linked to the local areas. We are on the Tirino, one of the rare rivers where water can still be drunk. This river gives its name to this valley that draws energy and strength from it since the beginning of time. The Tirino is the river that has also seen the succession of generations of my family. It is here that I learned to fish. And on this place, we had the gardens on the Tirino River, from which we drew vegetables, and where we also brought the cows, the working cows, and we fed them with watercress, this lush grass that we find on this river. And it is important to start the project of the Tirino land from here. This is our farm, because this is the most important place of this territory. The Tirino rises a little further upstream, about 600, 700 meters above sea level, at the point of the Capodacqua springs. The specificity of these springs is that right there, from that point where the river comes to life, there is a water flow of 6, 7, or even 8 cubic meters per second. It comes back to me a bit as the county of the Lord of the Rings, the beautiful valley made of gardens, orchards. First, there were some important mills dating back to the 15th century that belonged to the Medici family. And then there was my family's mill, purchased many years ago by my grandmother, because mine was a matriarchal family. It was my grandmother who was the true heart of the family. This mill has a special importance for me. There you could breathe the scent of flour, you could hear the roar of the water flowing under the millstones. For me, these are indelible images which have further tied me to this area. When the farmer, the peasants, came here to the river, in addition to obtaining vegetables with his own work, he also took advantage of it to catch trouts. In fact, Capestrano is famous for this salmonid fish, trouts. Now, of course, we continue to fish, but in agreement with the park and the municipal administration of Capestrano, we practice no kill. So we come to live this beautiful experience, respecting the fish and releasing it after it has been caught. Now, digging close to the lake, important testimonies of an ancient history of this territory have re-emerged. Around those springs, the Italic civilization had developed. The gardens on the Tirino were called hemp gardens, not because hemp was cultivated, but because hemp was put to macerate in the waters of the Tirino, and it was used. The reintroduction of hemp that Terra del Tirino wanted to do is, first of all, a recovery of an ancient culture that has a positive contribution in the rotation cycle of agricultural production. And then hemp is also an opportunity for new economic activities. Hemp flour is used to make an excellent type of pasta, integrating it with flour from other cereals. Hemp seeds are used. Hemp oil is used. And this is also in line with the desire to innovate, to open up new lines of production, and to integrate everything with those who want to approach agriculture with a new spirit and new ideas. The solina was the grain of the poor. It's a grain variety of this area, a type of wheat on which we have information starting from the 14th, 15th century. However, everything makes us think that it was cultivated even earlier, and it is directly linked with spelt. It is a cereal that can be cultivated at different altitudes. It's a typical cereal of the Gran Sasso National Park. It is a cereal that is very resistant to cold temperatures. Now, its specificity is that it has strong nutritional qualities. It is rich in vitamins, it is rich in antioxidants, but at the same time, poor in gluten. This is a wheat that has represented the food source for centuries of our populations, the main food source. Especially from this wheat, from this flour, a fabulous bread was made and is still made today. And this has been ennobled to the point that it is called the Solina bread, the best bread in the world. And we have made it an important element of our farm. It has become the central point of our food and also of the dishes that we offer to our guests. In our area, this wheat can produce a maximum of 1,200, 1,300 kilos per hectare. If we think instead that a traditional wheat can produce 8,000, 9,000, well, you understand that this is a very limited amount of production. Our choice, however, is to recover the old traditions, the old crops that perhaps, like hemp, but also like the Solina wheat, which had practically disappeared, we have decided to reintroduce them and improve them, introducing also new techniques that help this type of agriculture. We also have developed our project by focusing strongly on the on-site processing of what we produce. We bring to the table of our farm our transformed, processed products that are reworked in the kitchen, but in full respect of ancient traditions. We produce energy from renewable sources of energy with a small photovoltaic system, 300 kilowatts of power that we have installed, which abundantly covers the overall use of energy both in the farm and using our mechanical devices and equipment. The real innovation of the farm is therefore linked to a new and different concept that focuses on food as an essential element of psychophysical well-being, bringing the producer closer to the end consumer through the sharing of cultural experience and respect for the territory. This farm represents a bridge between a past rich in tradition and a possible future, an innovative experience which is strongly linked to the identity value of the places where it was developed, and therefore it is a model of agriculture that is resilient and that can be reproduced.